So without delaying it further, I would like to actually invite our first speaker, Caroline.
Good morning, ladies. Just a quick intro. I'm Caroline Laudren. I'm an independent financial advisor. My background is I was a fixed income sales for 15 years. I was a director at Dutch Bank in Birmingham, and I made a change of career a little while ago. I'm based in Worcester, and I would say, as most financial advisor, I look at pension, investment, savings, inheritance, tax planning, life planning, more or less anything related to numbers, except not mortgage and protection. We complete each other quite well with Kasia. So I'm going to try to speak about pension and make it a bit interesting. And then we have a Q&A session, and then I hand up to Alex. So let me share the little PowerPoint I've made. Up. Up. Looking good.
Brilliant, yes.
Super. So, what it's all about, and why do we need to care about pension? So, what is a pension? Pension is a long-term saving plans. Really, it's designed for retirement, and it's really tax efficient thanks to the government because they want you to save for it. The only thing with pension compared to any saving pot is that it's blocked from either 55 or 57, depending on your birthday. And I want to say, everything I'm going to say is quite a bit of general information. Everybody is different. It's all personal. There's different type of pension. There's what we call defined benefit or final salary, which give you a fixed income for the rest of our life. Those pensions are becoming rare. You still have civil servants, NHS teachers who have some, but generations that are more in their 40s or younger probably won't see them much because even those jobs are moving to a more what we call defined contributions, where every month you put money maybe with your employer or when you're self-employed from your business money. So that's the second type of pension. It's a defined contribution. It can be a workplace pension. And if you are not employed, it's either a SIP or a SAS. A SIP is quite, I would say, more common and really easy to manage, as it's called a self-individual private pension. And obviously, we've got state pension. State pension age is moving to 67 for most people, and it's a fixed income you get on a weekly basis. So it's around 11K-ish per year. So it does bring a bit of money, but you have to wait to be around 67 to get it. And also, I would like to say, why would you work all your life to wait for this money? How does work pension? Alliances. So the alliances or the contributions that you're going to make are going to be linked to either your earned income when you're an employee, or so if you earn 29K, you can only put 29K with the tax relief in it. But if you make more than 60K, which is the maximum allowance for most of the people, then imagine you earn 120K, then you can make only 60K into your pension. So you can put more, but that would trigger some tax charges. So let's stick to 60K maximum if you earn more than that. If you don't, just limit to your own income. Why is really interesting? Well, you get tax relief. So if you are an employee or you are self-employed, you get 20% tax relief from HMRC. Usually it's a pension provider who do all the job for you. But that means that if you put £100 into a pension, you actually already get, it's really £25, but let's say £20 straight away into your account as well. So it's already a good start to invest, I think. But what I like is the directors of a limited company. We have a bit more flexibility if you are in that situation than self-employed. Self-employed, believe me, you just do contributions, but the same, the directors, they can do it differently. They can do it through their limited company. And because this is seen as a business expense, it's the best way to reduce your corporate tax. And when I meet a director of a limited company, that's the first thing we do is we set up pension contribution from the business itself. And beauty of all of that is those contributions are not linked to the earned income. They are a lot more tax efficient, and you can put a lot more into it for your future. So instead of paying tax and giving it to the government, you could switch your mindset and be like, well, let's put more money into a pension. Another nice thing about pension, although this money again is blocked until you are 55 or 57, you can have what we call a tax-free lump sum up to 25% of your pension pot. So you have 100K, 25K can come to you tax-free. It's a nice thing, and it's usually how people start to get their money, is they take their lump sum. But until then, it's locked. So you see, you can take the 25% and the rest can stay invested. I go a bit more into details after why I'm saying this, because pension is for retirement, so it's a long term. We are living a lot older now. So if you retire, even at 65, 67, you still have probably like 25, 30 years to leave behind. So the money needs to keep working for you. So it's a lot of little concepts that apply for pensions, but also apply for investments that I'm going to talk about it. But it does work with pensions. So, because it's really nice and beautiful to start a pension, but the main point is where is it invested and what's the objective? So one really important word is compounding. And I'm not sure you understand that part, but that's why I thought I would explain it. Compounding is like you've got a little ball, and because the interest of investing it grow and grow and grow, it's like a passive income. It keeps growing for the time it's invested. We always say, leave the money invested as long as you can, because it will just keep growing, hopefully. So you see, the earlier you start saving, even little, even 20 quid, 50 quid, £100 per month, will give compounding a lot more effort to make your money grow. That's why when I meet some young clients, I always like, well, do you put a bit in your pensions? Great, look at your ISA as well. But pensions is the same. We are looking for a long-term investment, because I see different type of people here. Even if you are still looking for 10-year investment, it's a long time. Consolidation. Well, I'm a big believer that you don't need to have 4 different pension pots. You are paying 4 different fees across those pots. You are not helping compounding, because all those little balls, they are slowly growing instead of making a big one and let it grow quicker. So you will reduce fees and actually help the compounding effects to leverage a bit more if you were consolidating your pension. So I will say, never wait, just do now, because then you are ready for retirement. Monthly contribution, it's a good way of investing, generally speaking, because it helps pound cost averaging the market volatility. So when you invest, the market can do this and this. By buying every month, you buy here, then you buy here, then you buy here, then you buy here. So actually, you kind of take smoother the volatility by investing every month. So even if the market drops, you will still have buy some here, but also at the lower price. So it does help the portfolio value to keep growing on a more sustainable performance. Investment. I know it means everything and nothing, but the idea is, which fund are they invested in? Which share? Where is your money invested? Because I put a graph on the right side of that slide, and you can see that 3 different curves. The red one, sometimes you can look at performance and it says plus 50%, plus 20%. But actually, when you look at the graph, you're like, oh yeah, but it was really down and it was really negative. So even if you are making all the right thing for a pension, putting money into on a monthly basis, if your money is not working in the right way and not invested correctly, you're actually not seeing any benefits. So there's a part where starting a pension, but also investing it in the right way. I hope I haven't lost everybody. So why are we talking about this? Well, the idea is retirement options. The government put in April 2015 a new flexibility called pension freedom. Because what can you do with your pension pot? Years and years and years before, everybody was buying an annuity or cashing in their pension straight away and being taxed on it. Today, you've got a lot more options. You've got flexi access drawdown, guarantee flexi access drawdown. You've got some hybrid. You can do annuity and drawdown. You can take 25% tax-free lump sum, leave the rest invested. You can take 25% tax-free lump sum and use the rest for a different strategy. You can do a phased retirement where a part is taxed, a part is not taxed. There's so many options. All I would say is it depends of your situation. It depends of when you're going to start to have state pension. If you already have a final salary, it's seen as an income, so gets taxed on it. So it's all, that's why a pension, I always say, is personal. But the money gives you a lot of options to do when you retire. And I thought I will add a couple of graphs that I call cash flows that I do a lot for my clients. A lot of clients don't realize what they can do for retirement or how they will look like. The black line, really easy, expenses. How much those people, it's a couple, need every year to live and be happy. So right now they are working still, probably until 67, to be honest, for them, but they are hoping to stop at 64. So you can see there's different salaries, the orange and the yellow bit on the left side. But the really important bit is the little green. The green is when there is no money that is there. So if they didn't have any savings or retirement, they would struggle to actually retire for 3 years. And even be after, when they start to get their state pensions, some final salaries, they've got different things. But the beauty of having a bit of a retirement pension or a pension pot is the fact that you can do drawdown. And that little green gap on top of their other pensions, it's like 2K. So they could draw down every year 2.5K or 3K if they wanted to just top up their expenses, go on holidays, and have the life they want. Hence, we do some planning before retiring. So that's how this graph looks like. But then you've got some people who have a graph like this where they have just a few years where they might need to fill the gap. Tax-free cash flow from the pension fund might do that. But then actually, once they retire, if they add up all their pensions and some of their drawdown policy, it just works. So it's probably a lot of information. I always say talking to a financial advisor is free of charge. I always say that you don't know what you don't know. It might be a bit scary, but there's no point of postponing that part until retirement. I would say, lady, take the power, empower yourself with this education, with this knowledge. Don't wait for the last minute, because actually you can do a lot now than in 10 years or 15 years when you're going to need it. So it is a short summary. There's a lot to do about pension and talk about pension. And that's why it's hard to talk about it in 10 minutes. But the idea is, you get the idea. It's a saving pot that's just going to help you from 55 or 57 to help you to retire and do a bit of planning. So I'm done for now. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Alex, if you would like to take over, that would be brilliant. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'll just share my PowerPoint with you all.
And then also, if you could just tell us a little bit more about yourself, please.
Of course, yes. Well, thank you all for having me today. My name is Alex Hanley. I work for Hallmark Whatley Hulme Solicitors as a solicitor within the private client department. I specifically work on wills, powers of attorney, court protection and estate administration. I've stepped in today for Rebecca Widdowson, who is the managing partner of Hallmark Whatley Hulme. She also advises on administration of estates, wills and powers of attorney. Rebecca is also a governor at the Worcester High School and board member of the Active Hereford and Worcestershire. She is the vice president of the Worcester Rugby Football Club, as she's been part of this club for over 30 years. As you all probably know, she's very heavily involved within the Worcestershire community, and she also is our official sponsor for the Women in Worcestershire UK business. And this is the 3rd year running that she's been doing this. Rebecca would welcome anyone to make contact with her or the team to discuss any matters that you might need help with. But obviously today I'm here to talk about wills for you. And Rebecca has agreed that women of this group also get a 10% discount on all of our services. So firstly, we have a little question for you to think in your heads about. So how many of you actually do have a will? And if you do have a will, when was the last time you looked at it? When was the last time you reviewed it, reviewed the contents of it, and thought maybe it's out of date? If you have a will yourself, are you aware of any family members that have a will? Do you know what would happen if they were to pass away? So just get that thinking for yourself, because I do have a little pop quiz for you. So think to yourself, how many people in the UK do you think don't have a will? So we've got 3 options here. So we've got 23%, 54% and 72%. So regardless of that answer, that is still quite a lot of the UK population that don't have wills. But the correct answer is 2. It is 54% of the UK population do not have a will. I think there's 5.4 million people that don't know how to make a will. And this is higher than a 2011 study. So since 2011, 2018, this is increasing. Let's have a look at some reasons why people might not have a will. So there's a couple of answers on the screen for you. I'll just have a chat through a few of them. So there is no one reason why people are not making wills. Everyone has their own reason, but these are a couple of common ones that are on the screen for you now. People believe their friends and family will be able to make decisions on who gets what. Unfortunately, there is a set formula on who will receive your estate. So that is a myth on that. Too young or too healthy. No one knows when they will need a will. And it's like having insurance. You don't have insurance because you want something to happen to your car or you want something to happen to yourself. You have it to protect yourself and protect what you do have for your family. A will is exactly the same. Another misconception is that it's difficult to do. Hallmark Whatley Hulme do not make appointments difficult for clients. We get the relevant information from you in relates to yourself, your close family, what your estate includes, and then we draft a will in accordance with your wishes, whatever your wishes may be. We also do not charge over the odds. Hallmark Whatley Hulme charge £300 plus VAT for a single person and £500 plus VAT for a couple. And like I said previously, there is obviously a discount on that, being part of the Women in Worcestershire group. We have another quiz for, I'm very putting all these quizzes in here today for you to get you thinking. So what happens if to your current will if you were to get married? Nothing. The will is still valid. Your will is revoked. Or you still have the time. And then you've got to make changes to your will after you've got married. So just have a think what you think the answer to that would be. So the correct answer is that your will would be revoked. Unless it is drafted in contemplation of marriage to a specific person, not just anyone. You can't just say, if I get married. If you say, I will get married to this person, your will not be revoked. But in most circumstances, people don't do that. So your will would be invalid and you would have to do a new one. So we have here myth number 1, common law spouse. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about a common law husband or a common law wife. Unfortunately, in English law, this does not exist. The law recognises marriages and civil partnerships specifically for both inheritance and intestacy rules, and also in tax. Tax is a big one. The spouses and civil partnerships that are legal are considered, not just living with someone for a substantial amount of time. Another myth for you then is that if you are married or in a civil partnership, they will get all of the estate. There are rules on who receives what with the amount, so I'll just read through them. So if your estate is under 322,000, the spouse does get everything. Married, civil partnership. If it is over 322,000 with no children, once again, they get everything, but the changes then come if they do have children. So if it is over that 322,000 with children, the spouse gets the personal chattels and that first 322, but after that, then the residual estate is split between that spouse and the children. So the spouse isn't going to necessarily get everything depending on your estate value. If you are not married, so that common law husband and wife misconception, it does all then go to the children. So that may be something that you're missing out on benefiting your long-term partner if you don't have a will. Myth number 3, you'll see on the screen there. So it is correct, you can do your own will, but sometimes the complexities of the estate means DIY shall fall of what they should do. So there are some common pitfalls of unclear language, missing signatures, improper witnesses, or failure to address all relevant assets and beneficiaries. The Co-op Legal Services had found that nearly 38,000 families a year deal with a prolonged probate ordeal because of this. Right, here we have some dangers of a DIY will. I'll just throw them on the screen for you, and then I'll talk through a couple of scenarios. So we have Bill, whose family member had some legal training and they did a homemade will. It had been drafted and it had been signed and witnessed, but it had not been dated. Therefore, it was difficult to prove when it had been dated. So they had to go back and find the witnesses and do an affidavit to do that's a statement to say what had happened and when they'd done it. They had to go back through emails, they had to go back through correspondence to try and find out when it had been dated. That causes such a long process for people. A process is already difficult if someone's passed away and just drags it out, and that comes with its own costs. It's the same with different coloured pens. If they are in different coloured pens, the probate registry will assume that they have been signed and witnessed at different points. Once again, you have to get an affidavit and you have to lengthen that process to prove what has happened. The unclear wording around gifts. There was a lady who made a gift of 40 acres of her land. She intended to give a particular 40 acres to her grandchildren and the rest of the land to another individual. Unfortunately, as that land was not specified where it was, what it included, the gift failed because it was too ambiguous for it. There's assets not covered in the will. That's a similar instance. If you hadn't included a particular property that you have, that could go amiss from it, especially with life insurance and pensions currently. They are dealt with outside of the estate. So there are things you need to specify what you want happening so it goes with your wishes. Right, next slide for you. Right, so this is a clear statement. No more wine. The next one, by putting punctuation into it, you're completely changing the sentence. You say no, more wine. So that is why in wills we do not punctuate our wills to cause any confusion. We use specific wording and we set it out so there can be no dispute over what is being said. We're on to our last myth now. Wills about only distributing assets. That's not correct. You can also do guardianship in your wills. You can put funeral arrangements in there. You can have trusts for minor beneficiaries or people that have a disability. You can include that. And also who is going to be the executor administering your estate and also the person benefiting. We have had situations where individuals have done homemade wills and not included funeral arrangements. And for example, we had a lady whose parents were divorced, didn't get along, and they had different views about where their child should be buried. So this went on for a substantial amount of time. Two years this went on for, deciding where she should be buried, because she hadn't put what she would have wanted in that will for you. So we have some weird and wacky wills. So Shakespeare gave his second best bed to his wife and left the rest to his daughter. We'll be able to do that now because we have contesting rules for that. We also have an 83-year-old Danish woman who left her life savings to Copenhagen's 6 chimpanzees. So the will was read to them, and by all accounts, they behaved in an exemplary manner and no one disputed it. And then also a boozy weekend. A gentleman left £3,500 for a weekend away in European city for his friends, who said, "We'd formally like to apologise to Roger's 2 sons, Sam and Jack, for taking away some of their inheritance. We spent most of it on beer and the rest we wasted." So to be able to do these things, if that's your specific wish, you need to put them in there. And just the last slide for you here. Why should a will be professionally drafted? So there's just a few on screen for you there. Although there's no requirement to do so, but it is worth being aware that the courts are littered with litigation regarding poorly drafted and executed wills. Like I think I've said that Hallmark Whatley Hulme do store your wills free of charge. and we also do have insurance. So if anything does go wrong, that is protected. And following the Labour's October budget, many clients are looking for tax advice in regards to gifting, and also there is going to be a business relief in 2027 that I think a lot of business owners are going to want to get some advice on. So thank you all for your time this morning to listen to me provide some advice on wills and their importance. I welcome any questions you have, and if that is not something you want to discuss on this forum, please don't hesitate to either give me or Rebecca an email or a call. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alex. I'm from the financial side of it as well. I will add, obviously, I do ask, when reviewing the mortgage or personal protection, I always ask a question about the will as well. And there's so many people who assume, like, oh, if anything happens to me or my husband, kids will go to family. No. They don't, this is it. It's just, I think, Hans, it's another subject that's so important to educate. Just so you know, what to kind of, what you're dealing with, and then what will happen. So definitely good subject, very important information today. There's a lot of probably a follow-up and one-to-ones.
Maybe, Alex, are you able to give a rough price of how much it will cost? Because I think that's what people don't realize.
Yes, I think I
did. Because me, I know the prices, and I always tell my clients, it's just this, but I know your prices because I work with Rebecca, but maybe you want to share it here.
Yeah, so I'll mention it again. Obviously, I think I did briefly say it, but I think I skipped over it and to get within the 10 minutes. So for a single person, we charge £300 plus VAT. And for a couple, it is £500 plus VAT. So it's not double if it's both of you. Obviously, if you're an existing client of ours, then there are discounts for that with updating your wills. We don't charge the same amount every time to update a will, and also this group obviously gets that discount. So they're the basic fees, the 300 plus VAT and then the 500 plus VAT.
Fantastic. And I think, can I just thank you both for sharing your knowledge today. And just kind of to all of you ladies, this is an ongoing reviewing, it's work in progress group. The end of last year. Oh no, sorry, end of last year. We are end of year. 3 months ago, the first one with the question of what do you want to hear about? What subjects are important to you? So I think this is just to summarize everything today. Can you please let me know, or Lisa, or message the group chat? What would you like to hear about next time? This will happen every 3 months. And before, if you can attend, please send in your questions, so they will be answered straight away during the meeting. Following the meeting, if you've got more questions, please drop the messages on the group chat, and we will follow up and add the answers within the group. So it's all going to be within the group. There will be recording within our YouTube channel. Lisa will share that kindly. So you can always go back on that, but please let us know what subjects you want to have next. This is a group for you all. This is not me saying, look at me, what I do. We want to help you make obviously the financial matters more bite-sized and easy to follow, and in a nice and safe environment to discuss matters like that. So thank you all for today. Obviously enjoy the rest of your day. If you have any questions, just please follow up and let us know what you want to hear next.